Well, I do apologize. I see that last comment, and I'm like, yeah, the Saints game is on. I know that. I have a lot I have to get done, so I was trying to kind of delay, but I had to push the button because it is time for me to print lots of shirts, and you can always watch this later, so that's good. So maybe you're not here live, but you are here in just a little bit. We had a lot of fun down in South Louisiana fishing, but it was so hot. It was crazy. And I actually, it was kind of cool. We were coming into Big Lake yesterday, or coming by Big Lake, and I saw a nice tropical funnel hanging over the lake. I'll have to share that later. But yeah, it looks beautiful out there. The water was great and everything. We caught a ton of crabs, but only small, non-legal fish, and of course those silly catfish that constantly steal your bait down there. But yeah, if I could find a way to just do this in trade for fishing trips and, you know, didn't have to pay all the stuff I pay, I would be all about it. But it looks beautiful out there. No boats out on Sibley Lake right now. 88 degrees. It is 68 on the dew point. Back here at home, 91 over 70, so it's hot once again. It looks like we have some help on the way, but everything is going to be centered on the future of what goes on with tropical system Helene, should we see that become something, and it should become something. The one thing I did not check, I'm going to pull that up while I'm doing this. Radar's pretty quiet right now. We have nothing going on locally right there. And yeah, they have upped the chance on Helene to 80%. And it's pretty much, from what I am seeing and what I do in this world here, I'm seeing that this is pretty well a foregone conclusion for this evening here. First day of fall, I should mention that. So, looks like the days continue to get shorter and cooler from here. You know, I'm fine with that. 90 degrees at 3 o'clock. We're down to 80 at 9 p.m. But yeah, we definitely spiked back up to a late season heat wave here, and I was not a fan of it. I was out there just chugging water and sweating all day while we were down there. Just a couple of storms down south. Maybe a few of those try to sneak into our area late this afternoon. I think it's going to be tough sledding on that. Most of that rain is going to get squashed. And the severe outlook, of course, with that being said, not much going on. But we have so much going on in the atmosphere with this system, with the potential of Helene. First off, here you go. There's that red area. Now, if you notice, if you've been watching this the last few days, not through me so much because I've only shared a couple of text posts, but you know, we had this kind of pointing more toward the Western Gulf, and it looked a little scarier if you're just looking at a map. You can generally see here where they're thinking this thing's going to kind of channel up toward the Florida Panhandle. And I'll show you a GFS model here in a second. I don't like single runs, but this is mainly not to show you specifics, but to show you some stuff about kind of what's going to track this and how it's going to stay away from us, because I really think it will. But notice this, once it gets up here around the Yucatan Channel, that is then going to turn more toward the north. And as that happens, that keeps us on the west side. Now, that doesn't mean we stay totally dry. I know west side dry, especially if it's that far to the east, but there's some weird stuff going on here, and I'll show you that here in just a second. This is what we have right now off the coast of Honduras and Costa Rica right there. That's our area. They have declared this Invest 97L. They are going to start running tropical models. There was only one on the spaghetti model, so it was just one noodle. So it was just showing it going up into the Florida Panhandle, and I didn't want to get that specific at this point because we just aren't sure. I mean, this ensemble cluster goes from extreme southeast Louisiana all the way into the Florida Peninsula. So there's still a lot of spread on this. The unfortunate thing is it looks like this is going to become a strong storm. It's going to become a hurricane in all likelihood, and it's going to impact a large part of the eastern side of the Gulf. Looks like it could be a large storm and a strong storm, but again, it looks like, I can't give us an all clear, but it's getting to that point where it looks like it's going to stay pretty far to our east. So here's what's going on. Watch what goes on as this system comes up over the eastern Gulf, but look what happens overhead here. So we have storms coming together down there, and you can see there's some rain showers and possibly thunderstorms that are going to be moving just to our north as a front approaches. And this strong cutoff system just kind of drops down overhead, and what that's going to do, it's going to pull this system northward, and it's going to keep it to our east, but we're going to see that system kind of dumbbell around the backside of this, so that could bring us some rainfall. It's going to keep us protected in all likelihood from the direct impacts of Helene, but watch this as dueling circulations form. Ours overhead there, you see that kind of twist in things? That's a cold core upper level system, so that is non-tropical, and again, don't focus on the exact location of this. I do think we have a hurricane that's going to impact Florida later this week, possibly as soon as Thursday. But for us locally, the system that I'm showing you right there, you can even kind of see that comma appearance to the clouds right there. This right here, that is what's going to keep this system out to our east. And it looks like this is a very strong signal that this will happen when you have a system that is this strong directly overhead. That's not going to allow this to come our way. So as things kind of continue on, you see that circulation continue, and then it just becomes, it kind of merges together, and we get this weird mid-latitude cyclone that stays away from us as well. So all in all, it looks like we're going to stay on the backside of this. We're not going to see direct local impacts. I can't rule something out in southeast Louisiana, but the way I'm seeing this now, this is a Florida system and could be a significant one. And you can see here on the WPC map, all that rain pretty much from Mobile eastward. We get a little bit on that backside system, but most of that stays to our north, so it looks like we're going to continue with our stretch of dry weather. And I'm watching this very carefully. I don't want to completely sign off on this and say it's gone or anything, but it looks like we are going to do pretty well here with this as it continues to stay to our east. Scattered storms are possible Wednesday and Thursday with the system that's actually going to protect us from this, and then that could linger into Friday. But as of now, I don't foresee heavy rain in our area out of this. I don't see any big wind or anything that's really going to be that disruptive. In fact, as we get into the end of the month, last day of September is the 30th into October, all that rain stays off to the east, and temperatures around normal, which, you know, when we get into early October, we're looking low to mid 80s. So let me check and see how the Saints are doing. Let's see. Maybe I'll get to go next time. Yeah, you might. I would love for you to go. I want to see you out there. We need people, because the limit's 12 dozen crabs, and there were only like 8 of us, so that's 96 dozen. I mean, you know, we caught that many. No, we had like six dozen. We had enough to where we could all eat it. Let's see. I do want to see what's going on in the game here, and then I'll get out of here. Uh-oh, that's not good. All right, guys, I guess I got to go watch this game myself now. So, minute left to go. That's why I did this, because this thing's probably lasted like 7 minutes and only like 52 seconds has gone off the clock. So I will be on live in the morning. We will talk about this system and probably not much else, because this is the big game in town right now, apart from, of course, the Saints game. I will see you back here in the morning. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.